Throughout decades in Burma, the military's mismanagement and misrule have ruined the whole country economically and politically. The regime had destroyed people were terrified to act or to speak, terrified of being imprisoned, and terrified of being killed to death. The regime had destroyed the soul and the spirit of the people. But despite these hardships, Burma citizens have tried actively to democratize Burma, and behind the efforts lies Aung San Suu Kyi. So who is Aung San Suu Kyi? According to a BBC article, to explain her simply, she's like the South African leader Nelson Mandela. As an outstanding example of power of the powerless, Aung San Suu Kyi has become the country's symbol of heroic and peaceful resistance in the face of oppression. So today, I would like to present my speech about Aung San Suu Kyi in 3 ways. First, how did she gain power? And second, with the power, what did she try to achieve? And third, rather than falling from power, how is she sustaining the power? Are there any controversies? So first, how did she gain power? Aung San Suu Kyi initially wasn't interested in involving in politics. In fact, she could have even never gained power. So I'll briefly go over about how she came to get involved in power. Aung San Suu Kyi was born as a daughter of General Aung San, the country's independence hero. But when Aung San Suu Kyi was only 2 years old, her father was assassinated just 6 months before the country's independence from England. In 1960, she went to New Delhi with her brother, who was appointed an ambassador to New Delhi. And then she went to England, in Oxford University to study politics, economics, and philosophy. But her passion for Burma didn't start until 1988, when she went back to Rangoon to look after her ill mother. At that time, Burma was in the midst of political upheaval. Thousands of students, office workers, and monks ran out into the streets and demanded political reform. Fueled by the energy of the people, Aung San Suu Kyi was soon propelled into leading the revolt against dictator General Ne Win. And because of her heritage as a daughter of the country's independence icon and her charismatic personality, and especially her way of campaigning nonviolently, she soon became the most powerful and influential figure in Burma. So now, with the power, what did she try to achieve? As I mentioned just before, she wanted to end the military regime and bring democracy in Burma. She especially was drawn into the pro-democracy movement. She organized rallies and traveled around the country calling for peaceful democratic reform, which was soon suppressed by the government. Suu Kyi's goal was to establish a democratic system of government and in system of government in which all the regions and ethnic groups would be represented. So now finally, rather than falling from power, how is she sustaining the power? Are there any controversies? Indeed, the military has tried and is trying their best to take over Aung San Suu Kyi's power in every way. On 1990, after the military lost to Aung San Suu Kyi's National League of Democracy, they refused to accept the election results and even put some elected pro-democracy leaders under arrest, including Suu Kyi. And until now, for more than 11 of the past 18 years, Suu Kyi was in some form of detention, being restricted to take any action. Her situation, however, has rather made her become a more powerful representative of the Burmese people, and has also evoked the Burmese people to work hard to achieve democracy. In other words, Aung San Suu Kyi. Her severe situation has led her to sustain the power, which was ironic for the military government. There is also just one problem that remains because of her use of Buddhist concepts and practices when fighting for democracy. It has led people to deify her. People call her as angel of democracy and female Bodhisattva. When the left breast of Buddhist statues swelled and the eyes bled, people thought of it as imminent rise of Suu Kyi's power. As she does not distinguish her personal identity and her political image, her playing a saintly role will lead her to neglect the skills she truly needs to be a leader. Recently, Suu Kyi's detention was extended a year, and she's still under detention. Despite the severe situation, Suu Kyi is still the best and perhaps sole hope that there will be one day an end to the military regime in Burma. Thank you.